All right, let's check out this jewelry. All right, so tell me about this. Is this like what's going on here?
Okay, well, the jewelry is kind of, it was more styling, but it's a personal kind of project, but it still falls into like the collection and stuff. But the jewelry is just easy to wear. Like,
Right. Yeah, because in last season I saw this
yes.
detailing on your pieces. That's incredible.
Yes, what I like to do is like keep my aesthetic coherent. So last season, it was some of these in different sizes, and it was embellished with leather because I really love leather. So it was like chokers, it was like cuffs, and really like this actually.
Okay.
So this I've actually had in my collection for 4 years now, and basically the hardware changes, but the details kind of pretty much stay the same, like the straps.
Now, is it something that you'll want to get into being a jewelry designer, or is this just a personal style thing that is dear to you?
What I actually realized today is all my personal items, or some of my personal items, have actually flowed into the collection.
Right.
So definitely, it's so funny you mentioned that because I actually love everything that's slightly away from like my main field. My main field is like, ready to wear wovens, garments, like women's or men's. But I love bags, I love shoes, I love designing everything. Even in terms of like having a photo shoot, I love designing the set.
Right.
For me, it's about like the vision rather than like the specific role. So definitely I would want to go into jewelry designing, or I'm pretty much doing it actually. These pants I'm actually wearing today, I was thinking to myself, it comes from, for me, it's all about function. Like when I was at college, one of my tutors mentioned like form versus function, but one shouldn't overtake the other.
Right.
So basically, also because I didn't really have the skill, I wanted to like make a pair of pants without the zipper because it's like one of the most difficult items to work on.
Right.
So
Design
basically,
I feel you.
so basically, like I decided, okay, I still want it to look formal, and that's what I'm wearing today. But I want the wearer, whoever it is, to like be able to get into it like super easy. So the front has a tape, and like the back has elastic, so you can get into it, and it still fits to you or your waist or whatever. So I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is coming back into the collection because it was, what I kind of do is like I develop loads of samples, and basically they come into the collection at random times when it feels right, or when I feel like, okay, this can be a specific look, then like duplicated within the collection. So this for my next round, not necessarily collection, so my next addition to my current collection
Right.
would be pants, it would be like a romper, it would be a jumpsuit, or it would be basically, it would be in the collection.
Right. And these would be some of your staple pieces.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
ones that are always being reinvented with the same basic style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the basis of like my current collection, and like how I came about it, because I was designing another collection I was definitely very into it, and then it just hit me, and basically I put everything to the side, and I thought to myself, I need to design a collection where, like you mentioned, fun, or basically you're living the experience, and the experience isn't living more of you. Within line one, it's like super easy to wear, and there's definitely still the edge there. There isn't, it's not like, oh, it's so easy or it's so essential or so basic that there's nothing else to add to it. You can actually bring your own character to it. The items, and like, with this that I'm wearing, there's the tie, which I like to like wear loosely because for me it just makes me feel kind of like a royal if it's like blowing in the wind or something. And then also you can tie it if you want to be functional and you don't want it like floating about or whatever. But because I usually wear it with my leather jacket, like it's nice to see that detail,
Right.
like swinging.
I see you walking down the street. You've got these behind you. I see
Exactly.
it. Yeah. Okay, well, that brings me to fabrics. Fabrics are really important for you, right?
What it is for me is like how they react together. Now my three favorite like materials are leather, which for me is like
Done.
exactly.
We're done.
It's a knit structure, which could be jersey or it could be some sort of knit. For me, it's a structure. It's not so much a specific fabric. So usually it could be jersey or it could be like a terry or technical terry, which is currently in my collection. And the final is, I guess, a woven. It's cotton, but it's kind of like a satin cotton. It's one of those cottons that when you press, the crease it's like literally gorgeous. Because I love a crease in a pair of pants.
Right. Let's talk about your time at Celine. Tell me about that. Tell me about Celine.
Definitely, hands down, it's one of the most creative atmospheres I've ever been in. Like in terms of like fashion, in terms of like just even life and just work. I was basically speaking with like the head designer at that point, and he was telling me how like my ideas were less of a BA degree, like a bachelor's,
Right.
and more of a master's. So that made me feel like fantastic. I was like, well, for me, I was just analyzing. It wasn't like I was thinking to myself, it has to be at a level. I was just analyzing my information because I really, really love history. So I was able to bring a lot of like my research and history
Right.
into the design process at Celine. So it was an amazing time.
Did you feel like you just hit your stride, that you had got like knighted by the head designer as if like a master's?
It's funny. He also mentioned something to one of my supervisors at that point, and he mentioned to him that basically I remind him of a younger version of himself. Oh. So it's like being at a fantastic brand and then like hearing all these great compliments.
Right.
You just want to work hard and like know that you're good at your job, but all those other like elements definitely add to it. So yes, I definitely felt like I was knighted, and for me to actually also be comfortable knowing that my ideas were pushing the brand
Right.
in another direction or like making it slightly better, definitely made me feel amazing.
It's so refreshing to hear that there's so much positive and like people really raising other designers up, and I think that's really great for a brand because it's a collaborative effort,
Yeah.
It's not just one person, it's so many different people working.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's talk about Yeezy. Tell me some of your favorite things about Yeezy. How was Kanye?
Well, Kanye, he's lovely, very shy.
Right.
Actually quite different to what you see in the media. Like he's very shy. And he listens actually, he listens a lot. Even though he might act differently, he listens. He gives you the time of day to like proceed with your ideas. Yeezy, I would definitely say was really good. I would say their presentation after I was no longer there was fantastic. What made me feel amazing again was a specific item that I worked on that was so functional and still like fashionable for guys and girls. Got into the line and supposedly is like one of the best sellers. So that makes me feel amazing. But it was definitely a learning curve as well. Like it was me understanding, moving from Celine to Yeezy, and like it was definitely getting a better perspective of structures and companies. And now that I'm currently working on my own brand and like my own company, essentially, it makes me pull items from Yeezy, pull items from Celine, and even from like my back, like Diane von Furstenberg, makes me like pull all those items to almost kind of like form departments within my own brand. And yes, it definitely helped me also with relationships with like factories and like understanding the process and also the timeline. I think that's what's really essential with developing a collection or a business or a brand or whatever it is, an establishment, timeline and I guess finance and all of those things. So Yeezy definitely made me understand that I can definitely do it by myself.
Yeah. Why did you feel it was time to start your own line?
Because I've noticed no matter what I do, I always put like 5,000%. So working with Yeezy, I was definitely putting 5,000%, and I was so passionate about it as well. And for me, it was more about self-investment. You get to a point where you know that you have to like invest in yourself. Like I want to create, or I'm creating, let me rephrase that. I'm creating an element that's sustainable and it keeps going. It's always about progress for me, no matter what. In every aspect of life, work, just in general, it's always about sustainability. So for me, it felt right to like create my own line where it's sustainable, and to know that okay, next season or next run, I should say, I would have similar items and just slightly more developed. At Yeezy, it was great because we had a lot of time to like work on different ideas. But for me, I guess I'm really more accustomed to knowing there's a time period, knowing there's a production period and knowing that, okay, there's a delivery period. Because I like that, it's all exciting. It's almost like, working on a project at school, knowing that, okay, you get the brief, then you get the practical, then you get graded or whatever, and then you get the show. Right. So for me, it's all that process and enjoying that process and
going
like
through that journey.
Exactly.
Where do you get your inspiration?
This is kind of creepy, but inspiration for me comes even from what you're wearing. I can already see some details of what I might kind of like apply later on. But I get inspired everywhere, and I know it sounds kind of cliche, but when I'm on the train at times, down to jewelry, I see people wearing personal items. I'm like, okay, if I worked with that hardware, maybe with that like link or chain, I can create something new, and it's real. It's not like a project where I'm like, okay, it's driven by like business or whatever. It's real, and I know it's going to function because I've seen something personal like apply to it. But in terms of my inspiration further, I really, really love the library and I love history. I love going through photography. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Come on, Cynthia.
That's my sister. Let me just tell her.
We're gonna FaceTime with her?
Yeah, we're going to.
FaceTime with Cynthia.
Cynthia, I'm in a meeting. But hold up. Oh, no.
Hi, Cynthia. Hi.
Hey.
Who's that cutie?
That's my niece.
Hi, sweetheart.
I'll call you later. See you, bye.
So cute. That's your niece?
Yeah, that's my niece, and those are two big parts of my life in terms of like motivation. I'm just gonna put this on silent too. Yeah, sometimes you know what I've realized? No matter what I do, I have noticed that it always adds to just being better. Again, sounds cliche. Sometimes I just go to the library and I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to look for. I don't know what I'm going to find. But I'm definitely going to find something that, would add to my collection. And each time I do, sometimes I'm like, imagine if I never came across that. I don't know what my collection would be, but it would definitely still add to it. So there are times I just randomly go into the library, random sections, and I just flip open a page, and there it is. And I'm like, someone is definitely guiding me because I'm unsure of how that basically is like, just how I've come across it. But
and you're leaving yourself open too.
Yes.
And for any inspiration or any way a bag is walking down the street,
yes,
or how a woman is wearing her like shawl. You're really looking at every detail and every aspect. Like, that's really something special. And I think that not a lot of people really keep an open mind about how much inspiration is around us.
How much inspiration, definitely. And we're inspired by how we relate to it. And what I've realized is, with my relation to function, that's how I basically get inspiration. Because when I was analyzing like how the bag would be carried,
right,
it was from the function. Mm-hmm. It depends on your relation to how you've designed the bag and how you've related to the function. Mm-hmm. That's what helps you create a groundbreaking design or aesthetic or just something new or something refreshed. Because, as they say, nothing is really new, which I kind of I still don't trust that. I'm pretty sure everyone is still able to do something new.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
But yeah, inspiration, like I guess I'm constantly always inspired by just analyzing closer. Mm-hmm. There's, you always learn something no matter how many times you look at a specific item.
Right. What's your favorite part about what you do?
So basically, every time I get a task, sometimes it seems impossible, but I actually never think of it's impossible. Like, I always just think, okay, how am I going to get down to it? Right. And it's literally that moment in time. That's my favorite part. So when it comes to a project, like working on my line one, when it came to, just designing it and like having it real, that whole process was so fast. I didn't realize like how I processed it until I was done. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's done. So that's definitely my favorite part, is just interacting with the deadline of what needs to be done and just going ahead with it.
And how do you keep that deadline when it's you giving that deadline? Like, how do you still feel those good feelings when you're the one that's deciding what task is going to be?
Results and outcomes really motivate me. not seeing them also still motivates me. So either way, I guess I kind of win.
I like this win-win.
So it's win-win. So if I don't see it, I'm like, well, I need to work harder.
Yeah.
And then if I see it, I'm like, oh, that looks amazing. Let's do more. Or like, let's progress. So basically, that's definitely how I stay motivated. And that's how, even though it's me, it doesn't change. It's still a deadline.
You're like patting yourself on your own back.
Yeah.
You're like really reassuring yourself that, okay, next time I'll try harder, and being positive about it.
It really does help.
That's great.
It really does help.
Okay, for anyone wanting to be a designer or in the fashion industry, what's some advice that you can offer?
Tenacity,
Tenacity.
execution, and patience.
I never say amen, but I want to say amen.
Amen. Because when, me mentioning what inspires me or what motivates me is because I know that, first of all, I kind of think I'm slightly impatient, which is where, like, I guess I need to be more patient and, like, I need to have more tenacity. So it's just having those three, and also actually knowledge and awareness. Because if you have knowledge of whatever it is, or even if you don't have it, if you're in search of it, it really helps you control yourself and to be patient. So it sounds like a groundbreaking idea, or like I'm like, oh, you must have knowledge or whatever. However, really, it comes down to like, it gives you patience. Like, and patience doesn't necessarily mean like you have to wait forever, but it gives you a calmness that you need to proceed, basically. Because the moment you have that calmness, like with several events that have happened to me recently, because I was without the knowledge, I was like scatty. By scatty, I mean like I was running helter-skelter. Do you know what that means?
Right, of course.
It's like, just panicking, basically. I was panicking. And, but the moment I got that knowledge, I was so calm. I was able to do so many other items, or create so many other items and like resolve other issues, basically. So, yeah.
And having that clear head and moving forward always leads to really good things.
Exactly.
You're not doing positive, good things when you are running around
helter-skelter. Seriously.
Thank you so much.
Of course, definitely.
I truly love you. Thank you for such a great interview. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much.